You're skipping it, so here it is. www.sculpt, SCULPT, That's where you find. But again, just Google Jessica Lewis, Sculpt Your Life, any combination of those words spelled any way you want, and I will pop right up. And the foundational theory behind my company is basically like sitting on a three-legged stool. You know, when you're sitting on a three-legged stool, and if you shorten up one of the legs, you can still sit on the stool, but if you work one leg away, you're going to fall over. And the three legs are, in order to be healthy and well, it doesn't matter what's going on with you, as long as you move well, eat well, and relax well, you're going to be fine. And speaking of relaxing well, the reason why I'm here week after week, favorite style of meditation. The reason why we call it meditation is because it has been classified by some of this country's leading medical authorities as a moving meditation. In fact, a moving mindfulness practice. And there's so much research on the benefits of mindfulness, of course. And we know right from the get-go, we're talking about something that's going to enhance not just your mental health, but your physical health as well. And just like the last couple of weeks, I'm so excited today because I have people here today. Actual people. I've been live streaming for a couple of years now, you know, but it's nice to have real people in the room. Not just real people, but people who have been here week after week and they're really getting good at this stuff. Not that there's any such thing as bad, Tai Chi. It's all good and it just keeps getting gooder. But this one in particular does really know what she's doing, so it's all good. But before we get started, though, I just want to say that Tai Chi is not just relevant to the cancer population, frankly. In fact, it's relevant to anybody for any reason. If you think about it for a minute, Tai Chi is very commonly practiced all over the world, but in the Eastern Hemisphere, it's generally considered part of the national healthcare system. In the Western Hemisphere, though, you mostly see older people practicing it. So I find myself wondering, why is that? And I think it's because as people age, regardless of whether or not they have cancer, you know, the body starts to change, right? So we want to find ways to become dispassionate about the changes that will occur in the body, whether you like it or not, simply as time goes by. And that's one reason why older people tend to be attracted to Tai Chi. However, one of the coolest things about Tai Chi is that it also really impacts your physical health. Not just your balance, obviously, your balance, so you're putting all your weight in one leg so you can extend the other and then move forward and back, but all aspects of your physical health. So you can see why this isn't just relevant to cancer. It's relevant to anybody for any reason of any age, and easily this program can be modified a tiny little bit and be done from a chair. I've even worked with people who were partially or fully paralyzed and they did it mentally and still achieve some wonderful effects. So let's just get the ball rolling here. I usually like to start and end my practice with a little bit of good old-fashioned standing mindfulness, standing or seated mindfulness. You know, the stuff that you'd expect. Find a spot inside your body. Focus in on that spot. If your mind gets distracted, that's okay. Just invite it back. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's begin by putting the feet in that comfortable V shape that we have come to know and love, right? Any position in which the heels are a little closer than the toes. And now really feel your feet touching the ground. So the easiest way to do that is to just let your knees be a little bit soft. And you will magically feel your weight suddenly spreading out across the soles of both your feet. I have my eyes closed right now because I'm really feeling my feet touch the ground, but you certainly do not have to have your eyes closed. So let's just all do that for a moment. Feel the feet. See if you can even feel the outside margins of your feet as thoroughly in touch with the ground as the rest of your feet. And then let's see if we can rest our palms on sort of an invisible countertop. Just imagine that someone simply lifted all 10 of your fingers, and there your palms are, resting on the invisible countertop. If you're particularly energy sensitive, you might even notice the sensation of that pocket of energy between your palms and the ground right now. And while you're in that position, again, do just go inside, take a little dive, not even a deep dive, a shallow dive, with your mind's eye, and see if you can focus your attention on a particular spot. Preferably a spot you very rarely pay any attention to. And I'm going to call the bell, and your whole job until I call you back is to simply look at that spot with your mind's eye. Let's begin. So welcome back, if you went anywhere. Okay. Now this lovely participant who's been here before knows all the moves, so I figured we'd just go through all of them. Maybe with less yep from me than usual, actually. For you folks might be at a disadvantage. But just copy what you see, okay? And even if I move this appendage and you move that appendage, that's okay. Because there's no such thing as bad Tai Chi Cha. It's all good and it just keeps getting gooder, okay? And since I'm working with you folks and with this lovely person, I'm going to mirror. And that way, if I move this arm, you all will probably move your left arm. And again, if you get it all confused and you move your right, so what? All right, so here we are. We're just feeling the feet, touching the ground. How often in life do you actually think about your feet and let your mind be where they are? Now we just want to step out a little bit with the left foot, so we're kind of oozing away from it a bit, and it almost moves out to the side by itself. And then we send the weight to the rear, and that's just a function of lengthening the knees and putting the hands back there, and let's flow. I have this young lady at a disadvantage because I didn't hang up my list of movements today because it's windy, and I knew it would just blow down. So she's just going to have to pay closer attention to me than normal. Bonus. It's okay. Nice. Just feel the weight flowing into the heels and into the toes. Almost like you're pouring water from one glass into another. Feel the toes empty And then the heels empty. It's just a question of lengthening the knees at the end of the weight shift. And the toes and the heels will naturally do their thing. We typically only do about 9 rocking motions. Well, we'll just keep going until everybody looks and feels relaxed. And I'm using my spidey senses now too, because I'm thinking about you guys out there in Facebook land. Nice. There we go. Nice. Let's do 2 more. I think that seems like the right number. And on the last one, you want to head back the direction you came from. So it's a little bit to the side and a little bit up. And then you just kind of float back down to the soles of the feet for a moment. We're just pausing for a bit to feel them touching the ground. And let's get ready for bird flaps its wings. There we go. Isn't it interesting how this is sort of the shape of the female uterus? The fallopian tubes. I'm getting all cancer support community minded in my old age. Here we go. We're just going to sink and flap the little bird wings. We were just talking about hysterectomies before y'all walked in. That's why I'm thinking about uteruses and fallopian tubes. Here we go again. Nice. Here comes the circle. Nice. Let's do it again. Most of the Tai Chi movements we do in series of 9, but sometimes we do 3 sets. And sometimes the sets have 3 parts, just like bird flaps its wings. And now we're going to just float back down to the soles of the feet. And stop long enough to feel the body at rest. And now let's do around the platter. We'll just do 6 movements of the ones that have 9 in order to make sure that we get through the whole practice. Let's all sink down and shift to your right so the empty left leg can extend. Really empty leg. And around the platter we will flow. Nice. Nice. This looks great. Remember how when we were talking in rocking motion about pouring water from one glass into another? That principle definitely applies here. Pour your weight into the front leg and back into the back. Feel your rear leg emptying and the front leg emptying. This next one I think is number 6, so we're going to call it the last one. And just stand up in the back and float down. And let's sink and glide over into the left leg now. And we're going to go around the platter on the other side. Here's a quick trick. Whichever leg is sticking out, that's the direction the hands flow when you're doing around the platter. Nice. Let's do one more. And we're just going to rise slightly and settle back down in the soles of the feet. And then let's sink down a little lower and back over to the right so that empty left leg can extend. And here comes around the platter variation. It's exactly the same movement except for right here. Suddenly there's a little change in the hands, very subtle. Just pick up the fingers and just sort of show that ball of energy between the palms to the front edge of the platter. Just show it the edge and watch it drop off by itself. And this is going to be our last one. And float up and float back down to the soles of the feet. And let's do the other side. Nice. Good. And remember, whichever leg is sticking out, that's the direction the palms flow. And you can do it the other way, no problem. But it might feel better if your hands flow out over the leg that's sticking out. And this is going to be our last one. And just stand up on the rear leg, float down. Nice. Really feel your feet touching the ground. And let's do bass drum. So here we go. We're going to sink down, shift over to your right leg, and let your empty left leg extend. And here we go. Nice. 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 Let's do one more. Soles of the feet. Other side, here we go. We're sinking and shifting to your left so your empty right leg can extend. And here come the hands. Here we go. Nice. Feel the fingertips trailing around the outside edge of that big old high school marching band bass drum. Nice. Wonderful. And let's do one more. Just stand up on that rear leg and let the whole body float down to the soles of the feet. And let's do daughter on the mountaintop. Here we go. We're going to sink down. We're going to shift over to your right so your empty left leg can extend and the palms just turn over at the bottom. And here we go. As we glide forward, up rise the hands as if you're going to clap, but then they miss each other. And if you want to get precise about it, the left hand is the one that remains closer to the body at the top when they cross. It doesn't matter which leg is sticking out. It'll always be your left one. Nice. And this is going to be our last one. We're just floating up, floating down. And let's do the other side. Here we go. Now, did you ever stop to think why we move in this way when we're doing Tai Chi Chuan? Or really any Tai Chi practice? All the Tai Chi practices have, way more in common than not in common. But the reason why we flow in this way, like water really, softly, smoothly, continuously, it's because that's the way the main governing principles of the universe works. Let's do one more. And then just stand up on that rear leg. It kind of pulls the whole body together and float down. Float down. And now let's do Daughter in the Valley. We're just going to sink and shift over to your right leg, extending your left. The hands come up to about what they were for bass drum, only facing out. And here we go. So why is it valuable to move in the same way that everything in the universe moves? It's because that's what works. People are just a blip in the history of the universe, for Pete's sake. The universe will be here long after we're gone, and it's been here for way longer than we've been here. Because it works properly, it flows. Let's do one more. And we're just going to float up. We're going to float down. And now we're going to do the other side. If the universe is always trying to come to the path of least resistance, because that's how things endure. So the more we can move softly, smoothly, continuously, and by that I mean almost circularly, the healthier we will be. Let's do one more. And then we're just going to rise and fall a bit. Now let's do the single side-to-side motion that's sandwiched in amongst all the forward-backward movements here. We don't know why. And because I don't want to step out of the view of the camera or have my participant fall off into the grass here, we're going to modify it a little bit. So it has a slightly smaller footprint. Okay, so here we go. We're going to begin the same way as the forward-backward movements. We're all going to sink down a little bit. We're all going to shift into the right leg, but we're also going to turn the upper body to the right, and the hands go up on the right. And now the empty leg, the left leg, it just sort of sneaks away to the side, heel first. Yep, wherever the heel wants to go, that's a perfectly long enough stride for everybody. And here we go. We're just going to let all the weight flow into the leg that was empty, and then back into the original leg. And the hands just come along for the ride. And we're still just drawing circles in the air with the hands. On this third one, though, since the left leg is filling up, we just step up and float down. Now let's go back the other way. So here we go. Sinking, shifting, and turning this time. Yes, here we go. My live participant. She's doing great. Now just stand up on that left leg. Sorry, the right leg. And float down. Sometimes the mirroring fails. Let's do it again. We're going to sink, shift, and turn to your right. And out goes the empty left leg. Here we go. Let's do all 3 repetitions of this movement since there's only 3. And just stand up on your left leg and float down. And now we're going back again. We're sinking, shifting, and turning to your left and flowing towards the right. Nice. Nice. And then just stand up on the right leg. Yes, that's great. And let's go back the other way again. We're sinking and shifting and turning to the right. Yes. Nice. And then just stand up on that filling up left leg and go back the way we came. I think I stepped forward a little bit, so I'm stepping back. That way I don't step out of the field of the camera's vision. And float down. Nice. Just feel the body at rest for a moment. Wonderful. I guess I'm in the same position I was in. I'm not sure. Okay, we're going to do push-pull. Back to the forward-backward movements. Here we go. We're going to sink down and shift over to your right leg so your empty left leg can extend forward and the hands come up to the shoulders. Yeah, here we go. Nice. Nice. This is one of my favorite moves because I can feel the energy moving from my rear heel all the way up through my body and out through the hands. And then when I'm doing it with somebody else in the room, I can kind of feel their energy flowing back into my body. It's like patty cake. This is our last one. So we're just going to stand up on the rear leg, float down. And the other side, here we go. A lovely exchange of energies. Nice.
You can almost feel.
Yeah. If we were closer, you'd really feel it. Yeah. Let's do one more. And flow back down. That's a beautiful one, yeah. She was saying I can almost feel it. Yeah. So I don't know if you all know, I am also an adjunct instructor at Widener University. Let's sink down and shift over to the right and let the left leg extend. I teach Tai Chi for college credit, which is kind of cool, right? But this year is the strangest year. I might even be stranger than last year because people are still very sick, yet expected to be at school. And the kids have been a little hard to deal with. They're often completely stressed out and kind of snarky, frankly. Let's do one more. I'll continue my story after. One more. We're pulling in the energy, by the way. Then just float up and float down. And let's do the other side. Here we go. Sinking and shifting. And so one day they come to class, and I'm thinking, oh, good Lord, when is this going to be over? This is the worst day. Even I'm a Tai Chi teacher for a living, and I'm even thinking that. So I got them all in pairs, and we started doing push pull. And suddenly the room got very quiet. They could feel something so different going on between their palms. It was amazing. Let's do two more. And last one. And just float up and float down. Feel your feet touching the ground for just a moment. And now we're going to pull some taffy. That sticky, gooey, silky, lovely energy between the palms, right? Let's do one set one-handed. Just remember how to do it. And remember, it's like this. It's like when you're bored, you know how you do this? That's what this is. Okay. All right, so here we go. In fact, just let the hands hang. You'll know which arm goes where because you'll notice which shoulder comes forward. Okay? All right, so we're going to sink. We're going to shift to your right, and we're going to turn the belly to the right. Whoop. Left shoulder's forward, so that's why the left hand is across the body, palm up. Empty left leg goes out to the side. We already know that from carry the ball to the side. And as we shift to the left, here comes the arm along for the ride. And then we rest. And we go back the other way. Whichever shoulder is forward when you're done turning, that's the arm that goes across the body. Yes, exactly. Let's do one more set just to be sure. Whichever shoulder is forward. Yes. Or you could think of it as whichever leg is going to stick out, that's the same arm that crosses your body. So your right leg is going to stick out. That's why the right arm crossed the body. Yes. Let's do one more like that, just to make sure you got the movement pattern down. You could also think of it as throwing a frisbee. If you want to throw a frisbee to your left, you have to wind up on the right. And if you want to throw a frisbee to your right, you have to wind up on the left. Yes. And now we're going to add the second hand. And if your hands and arms and feet get all confused, don't worry about it because it really doesn't matter. There's no such thing as bad Tai Chi Cha. I make mistakes all the time and have never been arrested by the Tai Chi Cha police because they don't exist. Nice. Let's do one more set. Normally we'd only do 3, but that's okay. And you're pulling that sticky, gooey, silky, lovely energy between your palms. This is a very heat-creating movement. She gets her arms confused for a minute, but then she unraveled it. Let's just feel the body at rest. Now we're going to do anchor taffy. We'll do one with just one arm. Okay, it's a very slight modification, variation, whatever you want to call it, to the basic pulling taffy. So just let the hands hang. You'll know which shoulder, which arm goes where because a shoulder will come forward. Okay, so here we go. We're sinking, shifting, and turning to your right, and that's why the left arm is across the body. And then the empty leg comes forward. Since you're turned to the right, so is your front toe. And we're going to glide forward first and then sort of turn as we come back. Yes, great. But now we're going to pull taffy over there, so we wind up to the right in order to pull taffy to the left. I threw her off. Let's sink and shift and turn to the left. And here comes the right arm across the body. The right toe goes forward, a little pigeon-toed. It's like we wanted to walk forward, but then we change our mind. And now we're sinking and shifting and turning to the left again, and we're going to the right this time. Nice. Let's do one more set one-handed. Nice. And we're winding up the same way that we already did, but now we're going to the side. It's like the cha-cha. You know how you go forward, back, and then side to side? There's a couple extra steps here. And we're winding up to your left, gliding forward. And winding up to your left again. And gliding to the right. Yes. Now it's all flowing. All right, we're going to do one more with both hands, but I'm still going to break it into little pieces. Let the other hand just glide up. Yes. Yes. Winding up the same direction we just did, because now we're going to glide to the left. Yes. I'm going to wind up on the left in order to glide forward. And wind up on the left again in order to glide back to the right. Nice. We're just feeling the feet touching the ground. Just feel your feet touching the ground for a moment. Okay, we're going to do wrist circles, Taffy. It's so much fun and easy. Here we go. Just drop down and to the rear, and your fingers will drop. And then as you shift to the balls of the feet and lengthen the knees, the fingers will come up and forward, because you're kind of coming up and forward. Now on this third time, when you drop down, the fingers start to rise, but then you sort of wind up on your right, and then pull Taffy to your left. Nice. It's a pretty complex movement. It's got a lot of moving parts. Just see if you can allow yourself the luxury of feeling as if you're bobbing up and down in the water, like you're waiting for the perfect wave. And here it comes. You're just going to get ready on your left, and then glide over to your right. Yep, that's it. Let's do it again. Wind up on your right, and pull Taffy to your left. Yes. And again, down and up, down and up. Wind up on your left and pull Taffy back to the right. I don't know if that was 3 sets. We're just going to call that 3. Feel your feet touching the ground. That's always a good place to start. Okay. All right. Let's do perpetual motion, Taffy. We'll try to do only 6. 9 of them, but we'll do only 6. So here we go. We'll do one hand at a time first. It's just like regular Taffy, only we're going to keep going. And I hope I'm still audible on Facebook because I heard a little beep in my ear when it fell out. And my lovely participant is doing a good job. So after this next repetition, next set I should say, we're going to add the second hand. So here we go. The hands are just going to glide apart and then back together again. And glide apart and back together again. Glide apart and back together again. Glide apart and back together again. And we're going to do one more set. Glide apart, back together. And this time, as we shift back to the right, we're going to simply float down and feel the feet touching the ground. Nice. Okay, working the pulley. This one is so much fun. Let's all sink down, shift over to your right so your empty left leg can extend. Since the left leg is out, that's why the left hand is up. Yep, the other hand just faces the sky. Here we go. As we flow forward, it's like we're turning away from the forward reaching hand. So the backward moving elbow can get behind the body. There we go. Nice. See if you feel the fingers kind of running along the two strings on an old-fashioned clothesline. Here to here. And then they just run around those pulleys on the either end of the clothesline. We're going to do one more. And the rear hand's just going to slow down a little bit while we kind of pull it all together. And now we're going to do the other side. Here we go. Nice. Good. Here we go. The hands just move along the straight strings and then they just switch places. The front one drops, the rear one rises. The front hand drops, the rear one rises. Nice.
I think this is my favorite one. You know why?
Why?
Because I get to breathe very differently and deeply.
Yeah.
Like I really like this a lot.
I love it. Let's do one more. Oops. I think I knocked the bird feeder here. I've been very distracted today. It's been one of those days. Even Tai Chi teachers get distracted, you know? We're not Zen masters. We're people, you know? We make a lot of goofy mistakes.
This one really forces me to
It's part of the beautiful dance, you know? Let's do, we have plenty of time. I'm so worried about my time today. Let's do light at the top of the head, light at the temple. I love this one. Okay, here we go. We're going to sink down and we're going to bring the energy all the way up to the top of the head. And here we go. We're going to sink. And then when we rise, we're going to expand. Yes. This is a great way to send your energy out into the universe. And one more. Good. Now pull your energy up and out of the crown of your head and sort of let your palms roll by each other for about 6 seconds. And then hold for about 6 seconds. And maybe even feel the energy between your palms, maybe almost running down your body. And then let's contract and expand again. We're going to do it 3 times. On the third one, we're going to get really expansive here. The arms roll all the way around, kind of fold the energy in, and we float back down to rest. And then we do the second half of the movement is just the same, only we bring the fingertips up to the temples. And here we go again, sinking and rising. Good. Sinking, rising. One more time. And then we're going to let the fingertips kind of roll forward. It's like you're messing up your hair at the temple line for about 6 seconds. And then we hold. And then we're going to sink and rise. And sink and rise one more time. Now we get really expansive here. We roll the hands all the way around, kind of fold the energy in, and just feel the feet touching the ground. Nice. Now let's do Joyous Breath. This is a great one. I love it. This is a particularly beneficial movement if you're just exhausted, or if you're feeling like someone has tapped your energy and you want to stay grounded. It just gets you back in the soles of your feet. So let's all step out a little bit with the left foot. It's the same setup as rocking motion. And we're going to sink down, and then we're going to kind of come to the balls of the feet as we rise a little bit. So it's the same sort of forward and up that we did for wrist circles, Taffy. And now we're going to press down in 4 sections. Let's do it again. Again. And we're going to pull it back together. Just feel the feet touching the ground. Now let's do passing clouds. Oddly enough, it's the only movement that begins with a weight shift in a totally opposite direction than we normally shift. So what we're going to do is we're going to sink, and we're going to shift to the left now and turn the upper body, and that's what causes the left hand to go up. And then the empty right leg goes out to the side. And as we shift that direction, here comes the left hand. And as we flow back, here comes the right. Nice. Nice. So again, sort of like working the pulley, there's a period of time in which the hands are just kind of moving along a straight line, and then they switch. See if you see it. From here to here, and what's up goes down, and what's down goes up. What's up goes down, and what's down goes up. In fact, if you weren't shifting from side to side, it would be 2 overlapping pinwheels. But because you're shifting from side to side, it looks like 2 overlapping ovals, right? I know we did more than 6 because I love this movement. Yeah. So how about we do one more set? I think this is 9. I could be wrong. And we're going to end by moving back the direction we came from. Very beautiful. And now we're going to do 6 healing sounds. Now this one is a little complex, and I'm going to mirror it to the best of my ability. So we're going to begin with the left hand and the left foot only, and we're going to sort of aspirate from the dantian the sound ho. So it's going to be more like ho instead of ho. Okay, so here we go. Left hand, left foot only with a ho. I said left hand, left foot, but I meant to use my right. Let's go back and try that again. Definitely not Zen masters here. Let's try that again. Okay, here we go. All right. Left hand, left foot with a ho. Here we go. Both hands with the sound whoo. And now we're going to sweep to your left with the sound sue. And now the right hand and the right foot with the sound sh. Sh. And the both hands now with the sound she. Sh. And we're going to sweep back to the right with the sound chui. Chui. Now this is really about the empty leg and the full leg. The left leg is empty, so that's why it's going forward. It's still empty, so we're going forward again. Now the empty leg has to come to the side, so the easiest way to do that is turn away from it, and it gets so light it just moves. Now your right leg is empty, so it comes forward, and it's still empty. You go forward again, and we want to get it to the side, so just sort of turn away from it, and it becomes so light it just moves there. Let's do it again. Here comes your empty left foot. It's empty again. Let the empty leg come back into the side. Now the right leg. She's getting it. Both hands. And we got to get the empty leg over to the side. So here we go. And now we're going to do side to side chuis. We're going to do one last one here. And just rest. So every ancient culture has a pretty good working knowledge of the importance of certain sounds, right? And what I love about that particular movement is it incorporates sound and movement. What we're doing when we do this sweeping thing is we're giving our kidneys a good massage. And they may be the most important organ in the body because when they start to fail, everything else goes first. Or it looks like they go first. It's really the kidneys that went first. Whatever. Let's all do cosmic consciousness pose. I will mirror it. So from rest, all you do is lift your left heel and rotate it a little bit and kind of lay it down very lightly on the right ankle. And then let your arms rise up to about shoulder height. The fingertips overlap and the left ones are closer to the body than the right. We're just going to hang out here for a few moments. And then we're going to flow back down to the soles of the feet. And while we're thinking about the soles of the feet, let's do a few more moments of mindfulness. Just feel the feet touching the ground. You can do this eyes open or closed, whatever works for you. And find a spot somewhere inside that you'd like to really, really look at with your mind's eye. Perhaps pick a spot that you hardly ever notice at all. Just expand your awareness of this one spot, at least for a few moments. And we're going to call the bell. Your whole job until I call you back is just see if you can notice that spot. And if your mind wanders, just thank it for sharing and invite it back to the spot that you'd prefer it to focus on. Here we go. This is me bowing to my lovely participant, and this is me bowing to you. I'm your very grateful Tai Chi Cha teacher, Jessica. Always grateful in every way, but I'm especially grateful to be here with all of you guys. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. It's cool, but it's sunny. It's perfect. All days are perfect, though, really. Really, in the grand scheme. So thank you all for tuning in. And again, I'm Jessica Lewis. You can find me on the internet. You can Google me, Jessica Lewis, or you can look for my company, Sculpt Your Life. And I hope to see you all in a couple weeks.